most construction owners, they spent their life involved in the industry, involved in the construction industry, involved in running their businesses. So it's how do you see, Sue, these owners being successful with their involvement in the industry? What are some different scenarios that you see? You already touched on some of these, but how are they involved in the industry and the business post-retirement?
Well, it's interesting because there's really kind of two schools of thought. One is that the owner looks up and says, you know what, I have devoted 90 hours a week of my life to this, and it's time. I've got, kids or grandkids, whatever. I'm spending all of my time with family. That is a completely legitimate passion for them, and they may have very little to do with the industry or, any of the business afterwards. Others have realized that this has been a very important part, not just of, their financial background, but a very important part of how their identity has been developed. Who they are is a friend of the industry. And there's so many ways that people can be part of that business yet. And whether it's paid or whether it's more on a volunteer type scenario, there's a lot of different ways. We mentioned earlier, right, that you could be on a board. I know a lot of retired people in the construction industry that they are on boards of other general contractors or subcontractors, other friends they had in the industry as well, right? They are bringing that institutional knowledge to those board positions and making not only that company better, but the industry better. Others have decided to get involved, again, legislatively by joining organizations or associations that help with whether it is legislation for the construction industry, whether it is an organization of subcontractors, whether it's an organization of veteran companies, whether it's the women construction owners, those types of things. But they find that passion, they find that camaraderie still there, even though they are not literally on the payroll anymore. Another thing that many have done has found their niche in life in that one thing that they were really, really good at in the industry. It may have been a technical aspect of the work. It may have been more of a leadership role. But they've gone back to whether it's their college where they graduated, whether it's a local college that they had been recruiting from. But they go back in and get into classrooms. Whether they become an adjunct instructor or not, right, and teach an entire class, over an entire semester, they will come in and teach a 1 or 2 hour every fall, every spring on strength of materials or, different aspects of the construction industry. Those things that they knew so well that their expertise can bring that to the new generation coming up. It also helps with keeping, assuming you retired and all was well with your company, keeping your company's name in front of those new recruits by going and getting back into the higher education and the teaching side of things. So there's a lot of those things that can happen. It's just looking around and seeing what that means. I know there's an organization just down the street from me, and they were putting in like a community building, and they were needing some volunteer help. And I know a couple of people that had retired from construction, and one said, hey, for 10, 20 hours a week for the next 6 months, I wouldn't mind being the project manager on that job. Another guy that just retired, he's an attorney for a construction company. He said, well, I'll look over all the contracts. So they got involved in their own local community and helped get those things moving because it was, one, a great volunteer opportunity, kept them in the industry, and helped to keep their skills sharp. So it worked out great for everybody. So there's a lot of different things. I don't know if you've seen other things, David, but those are the typical ones that I see.
Yeah, we, expert witness, if somebody was an engineer and a founder of a company, going back and becoming an expert witness, can keep them fresh in the game. We've had that as an exit. And then, I'm surprised, Sue, that you didn't shamelessly plug the consulting industry as a great career option, second career option post-retirement, because we are coming up on a pretty massive talent shortage just in terms of the demographics of the United States and that critical management layer. So I think there's a big need for those very experienced people. You touched on it with board positions and things like that, but like you said, you've settled into and really enjoyed the hands-on one-on-one work with companies. What are the pros for you? You've tried several different things, so what were the pros for you to consulting?
The pros for me, as the people that know me laugh, I am definitely a whiteboard person. My office has always had whiteboards in them. My house I have 5 whiteboards in my house. Several of them portable. They move around all the time. So when I was deciding what I wanted to do next and just wasn't quite ready to be completely retired, it was funny. I took to the whiteboard, and my columns were, of course, the top half was financial. What could consulting do for me? What would full-time do for me? And penciled it all out, and they were, certainly close enough. And consulting had a very, open-ended high mark if I wanted. But it really got down to, for me, the bottom half was, okay, what's the rest of the story? And the rest of the story was I wanted to be able to go see my kids who live in another state, to go visit family that lives in another state. I wanted the time necessary to do the things that I wanted to do, right? I wanted to live my retirement masterpiece. And consulting gave me the opportunity to bring my expertise to the table, to help others, right, keep pressure on their mission, and frankly, not to be in their pocket every single day so that they could actually get real work done as well. And that gave me a rhythm of, getting to see clients once or twice a month with phone calls in between. And that allowed me to schedule around the personal time, frankly, that I wanted. So it worked out great for me. Now, granted, I'm still settling in and kind of trying to feel what my full load to me is. But that's just a matter of time. So no, it's been great. Yeah. And sorry, David, didn't mean to forget the shameless plug. So.
No, and that's I wasn't meaning that from a selfish standpoint for our team or anything, but it's a good way, and I think what you said about being able to provide the coaching, once or twice a month and some interim phone calls and communications, but as you said, kind of stay out of the way of daily operations and some of those details. So that, I think, brings us to my next question is,